Hello, Sunbeamers. I hope you all are fine. So today we are going to start a new chapter of biology, that is classification of living world. So I hope every student just watching this video must have a library in their school. In your library, there must be thousands of books categorized or classified in as on according to the subjects. Suppose you have to go and bring a biology book. So you will ask a library ma'am, where are the biology books? And she will tell you that go to that section or go to this section and you will get the biology book. So your library ma'am, for ease of the students or for making you feel easy to bring books, she has classified or categorized the books as per the subjects. Physics book is in oneself, chemistry book is in oneself, story books are in oneself, biology books are in oneself, geography, history books. So she has classified according to the on the basis of the subjects, so that it will be easy for the convenient for the students to go and bring book and keep it there after studying. So in case of living organisms also, on the basis of common characters, on the basis of similarities, we classify insects, bacteria, fungi, animal, plants. So we are classifying the organisms on the basis of their common characteristics, so that while we are making a study on them, it will be easy for us and we will not face any difficulty. Suppose you are studying about bacteria, so you will go to the bacteria section. We do not get focus on animals. Suppose we are studying on plants, so we will focus on the plant section. We will focus on plant. We need not to have any study on animals. So having to increase the conveniency of discovering organisms and having a research on them, we are having the classification of organisms. So what is classification? Classification is grouping of organisms or grouping of things on the basis of common characteristics. So there are millions of types of organisms on earth. Yes. And it will be easier to study about such vast variety of organisms if we classify on the basis of certain criteria. What are the criteria? Criteria is similarities and dissimilarities. Suppose you are classifying tiger and lion. So what are the similarities? They both are wild animals. They have your long canines. They live in jungle. So these are the similarities. And if we discuss about tiger and deer, what are the dissimilarities between tiger and deer? Tiger is a carnivore, deer is a herbivore. So according to this, taking into consideration the similarities and dissimilarities, we are able to classify organisms into different classes, so that it will be easier for us to study and having a research on them. So what are the advantages of classification? Advantages of classification is, first point I've already told you, to increase the conveniency of studying and having research on them and not having a problem in differentiating between different organisms. So this is the main advantage of classification. Still then we will study. There are about 10 million living organisms on Earth. Scientists have identified and classified only one third of this till date. Till that, only one third of the living organisms are classified. More than half, or two-thirds of the living organisms are still to be discovered, not discovered yet. Millions more would be identified in the future. If you appreciate the necessity of classifying a few thousand books in your school, you can very well understand the need of classifying living beings. Yes, as I've told you, library ma'am is classifying or categorizing your books as per the subjects. So in animals also, we are classifying the organisms as per their characteristics, similar characteristics. Okay. The character, the first point you have, look on the first point. The character of all members of a group can be studied by studying the characters of a few members only. The character of all members of the group. Okay. Suppose in a group there are 8 members. Okay. In a group there are 8 members. Okay. But you need not to have a study on all these 8 members. You need to study only 1 or 2 members and you will get to know about each and every member, because all members are same. No members have much difference among their characteristics or between their characteristics. Second point is classification make the study systematic. Yes. What is meaning of study systematic? We are studying in a format, in a proper manner. We are not making an randomness while studying, okay? And we are able to highlight the relationship between different organisms. Suppose, as I've told you, between the tiger and a lion, okay? Tiger and a lion, we are making a relationship that they are wild animals. They are carnivorous. They are wild animals. So these are all the similarities between a tiger and a lion. We are having a proper relationship. Suppose a buffalo and a cow. Buffalo and a cow, we are making a similarity that they are pets, they give milk or they are milching animals. So this relationship we are able to build when we classify organisms into different classes or categories. It helps in identify the different organisms and placing into particular groups. Yes, wild animals, as I've told you, tiger, lion, everything we kept in a wild animal group. Herbivore, the animals that eat plants or feed on plants. Herbivore group. So we need to classify. We are classifying herbivores means they eat plants. Carnivores, they eat flesh of other animals. Like that, on the basis of their common characteristic, we are classifying. So when we are having a study on them, we need not to focus on each and every carnivore. One or two carnivore we will take, and we will have a study on them, and we will make a general categorization or general means properties. If we are talking about the general properties of carnivore, we will make a general property of the carnivore. We have to study only on 2 to 3 animals of the carnivore. We need not to study about thousands of carnivore and make the general properties. I know one animal and other will be different, but many characters are in many of the characteristics they have similarities. So we need not to focus on each and every individual of the carnivore. We can talk about one two carnivore and we can make a general category, general characteristic that yes, carnivore have long canines, carnivore are eating flesh of animals. Okay. This is all possible because of classification. It also gives us an idea about the evolution of organisms from simpler to more complex. Okay, evolution. Evolution means you must have heard from your parents that we were monkeys before. From monkeys, we slowly evolved into human beings. Okay, so also by classification, we can learn the theory of evolution, how we evolve from simpler to complex organisms. System of classification. What is a system of classification? Classification could be done in many ways. For example, plant could be classified into trees, shrubs, and herbs based on their sizes. Based on the sizes, we're classifying plants into trees. Trees are tall, shrubs are little smaller, herbs is much smaller. So we are classifying on the basis of size. Mango tree is tall. Rose plant is little shorter than the mango tree. So we are classifying, yes, shrubs means shorter than the trees. Herbs means very small plants. There is a mint plant, okay? So on the basis of size also we are classifying. First, your category of classification is size. Second category is your nutrition. How you are classifying on nutrition? Autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs and heterotrophs. Suppose autotrophs means animals. So organisms, if we say on the basis of nutrition, O means organisms, okay? A is autotroph and H is heterotroph. Autotroph means the organisms that produce their own food. That is a plants. And heterotrophs means organisms that depend on plants for their food. So we are classifying on the basis of nutrition. Classifying on the basis of nutrition. So this is how we classified. Yes, autotrophs means you have to study about plants. Heterotrophs means that does not make their own food. They depend on the plants for their food. Third basis is your habitat. Habitat and last basis is your duration of life cycle. So what are the basis of classification or systems of classification? Size or nutrition, habitat, and duration of life cycle. Life cycle, yes. One fruit fly or one fly lives for 1 week or 2 weeks. But humans, they live for 70 to 80 years. So you can classify, yes. On the basis of life, with life cycle also we're classifying. Habitat. Suppose in jungle who lives? Animals lives. And in normal plains, humans live. So you can classify on the basis of habitat too. Classification of organisms according to some superficial characters are called artificial classification or artificial system of classification. In this type of classification, many plants which are otherwise very different are put in the same group. For example, a neem plant and a pine plant can be grouped together as trees, but they possess a number of different characteristics. Yes, Neem plant and pine plant both are trees, but how they are different? Neem plant grows in normal plain areas, but pine plant goes in hilly areas. So on the artificial system means the these are not natural. These are due to some superficial characteristics that are developed by humans. So humans has identified them. Yes, this there is some difference. Pine plant is conical in nature. Trees, neem trees spread like some like a cylindrical in nature. You can say. So these are the artificial basis of classification that is developed by the humans idea or human idea is developed to classify one organism with another or one plant to another, one animal to another, whatever you can say. Similarly, for animals, grouping based on the presence or absence of wings, or they can fly or not. Suppose we are differentiating between penguin and crow. Suppose you are differentiating between penguin and your crow. So penguin, what you will differentiate? Penguin lives in cold regions, crow lives in normal climate. Cold climate and normal climate. Second difference, what you can bring? Penguin cannot fly, but crow can fly. So this basis of classification on the basis of superficial characteristics that are seen by humans or identified by humans are known as artificial system of classification or is known as artificial system of classification. In the general system of classification, all the important related characteristics such as external structure, internal structure, growth, development, reproduction, and many other life processes are considered. This is a more scientific method of classification. So, scientific method includes structure, means your anatomy, morphology, that is external and internal structure, growth and development. See, each and every organisms may have different system of growth, different system of development, different methods of reproduction. Some may reproduce sexually, some may reproduce asexually. So on the basis of that, we are having classification that is known as general system of classification, and this system of classification is more scientific than the artificial system of classification. Okay, I hope you are getting it. Classification of living organisms. Okay. Originally, all living organisms are broadly divided into two categories, depending on some common characteristics. These categories were plants and animals. Before many organisms were discovered, before new techniques were invented of classifying organisms, of knowing organisms, we were dividing organisms into two categories. One is plants, it is kingdom Plantae, and one is kingdom Animalia. Okay, these are little Greek terms used here, Plantae and Animalia. Plantae means kingdom of plants, and Animalia means kingdom of animals. So before new techniques were invented, before microscope was there, we were dividing our organisms into plants and animals, seeing their uh, lifestyle or seeing their habitat or seeing their structure. Plants are greenish, having a bark. Animals are able to move. Plants are not able to move. But certain organisms like bacteria were found have characteristic of both plants and animals. See, bacteria is a microorganisms. In some bacteria, you will see they have characteristic of plants. Some bacteria will have characteristic of animal. Therefore, entire living world is divided into 5 kingdoms. After that, when we came to know that yes, bacteria is also present, is bacteria is also a living organisms, but it has characters of both plants and animals. So we can't include bacteria in plants and both plants and animals. Okay, some are telling that bacteria is plant, some are telling bacteria is animal, but we can't include bacteria wholly in plant or wholly in animals. So we have discovered or we have made a separate kingdom for bacteria, separate kingdom for protista, separate kingdom for fungi, separate kingdom for plants, separate kingdom for animals. So this divided our organisms into 5 kingdoms. This was done by the scientist R.H. Whitaker. This is extra point. This was this 5 kingdom classification was done by R.H. Whitaker. Okay. This five kingdom classification was done by R.H. Whittaker. He divided the organisms into five kingdoms. What were they? First was the Monera. Monera means the kingdom of bacteria. Okay. He included all the bacteria, as bacteria was having characteristic of plant and animals. So he is decided to separate bacteria from plant and animals and make a new kingdom for the bacteria, that is kingdom Monera. The second kingdom is kingdom Protista. Protista is the kingdom which have other unicellular or one-celled organisms. See, the kingdom Protista, the organisms present in the kingdom Protista have separate characteristics than bacteria. Bacteria are also unicellular, but bacteria nucleus is not as prominent as Protista. Bacteria has a prokaryotic nucleus. Uh, Bacteria are prokaryotic in nature, but Protista is eukaryotic in nature. Prokaryotic means the nucleus in the cell of bacteria is not well formed, but the cell of Protista has a well-formed nucleus. So Protista organisms are eukaryotic in nature, but the Monera organisms are prokaryotic in nature. So this difference Whittaker found in Monera and Protista, and he differentiated Monera and Protista on the basis of their cellular structure. Fungi as the, you can say fungi as unicellular and multicellular both. But what are the special feature of fungi? The special feature of fungi is they are spore producing organisms. They produce a spore. And plante, you know, kingdom of plants and kingdom of animals. So from two kingdom classification, we reach to five kingdom classification just because of common characteristics. Because in bacteria, they were having both plant animal characteristics. Then again in bacteria, some were having eukaryotic nucleus, so they again differentiated into Protista. Fungi, they were spore producing, so again they got differentiated. So like that, from two kingdom we reached five kingdom of classification. First is your kingdom Monera. The bacteria kingdom is known as kingdom Monera. Okay. Before kingdom Monera, bacteria were placed in the plant kingdom. Okay. But now they have a separate kingdom for them, that is the kingdom Monera. So bacteria are the organisms that are made up of single cell and lack a nucleus. That does not have a nucleus. They lack a nucleus, or their nucleus is not well formed. So bacteria are the prokaryotic organisms. Remember this point. The organisms without a proper nucleus is called prokaryotic. They are prokaryotic in nature. That is, the nucleus is not well formed, or the nucleus is absent, you can say. Bacteria are found in three different shapes. Actually, there are four different shapes, but bacteria, here there are three different shapes. Bacteria are found in three different shapes, that is cocci, bacilli, and spirilla. Cocci means spherical shape. These are the biological terms you have to remember. Cocci is your spherical shape, or cocci, you can also say, but it is cocci. Okay. Spherical shaped is cocci, like that. Bacilli is rod shaped. Normally, you will see bacteria in bacillus shape, that is rod shape. And spirilla is your spiral shaped. And the fourth one is your comma shaped, that is your vibrio. Okay. Vibrio, the bacteria that causes cholera disease, is normally of your comma shaped bacteria. Okay. But here only three shapes are given, but one more shape is your vibrio shape, that is the comma shape. Okay, vibrio means your comma shaped. The next is your kingdom Protista. See, bacteria, what are the main characteristic of bacteria? Single cell, that lacks nucleus. First point. First point is your single cell, unicellular. Second point is they do not have a nucleus. Third point you can say about the shapes. They are basically of three shapes or four shapes, you can say: cocci, bacilli, and spirilla. Next is kingdom Protista. This kingdom consists of unicellular organisms. As I have already told, unicellular organisms, there are two kingdoms for unicellular organisms. First kingdom is your Monera, second kingdom is your Protista. What is the difference between Monera and Protista? Presence and absence of nucleus. In Monera, nucleus is absent, but in Protista, nucleus is present. Nucleus is present in the cell. Some are animal-like, they do not make their own food, so they are called protozoa. For example, amoeba and paramecium. Some are plant-like, they have one or more chloroplast, and they make their food from the solar energy. So in Protista, there are two kind of organisms. One is your autotroph that make their own food, and one is heterotroph that do not make their own food. Autotroph, what are the examples? Sorry, autotroph make their food by using solar energy or the sun. By help of the sun, autotroph make their food. Example, you can see euglena and diatom. Autotrophic protista or the protista that make their own food. Or here, your heterotrophic protista are called protozoa. Another name for heterotrophic protista. Heterotrophic means the organisms that do not make their own food and depend on plant for their food. Protozoa. What are the examples of protozoa? Amoeba or amoeba and paramecium. This one I have already told you in living organisms, living world. So here again the name came amoeba and paramecium. Okay. So examples you have to remember: protista, unicellular organisms, nucleus is present, and the two kinds of protista. One is your protista that make their own food, that is euglena and diatom, and second is the protista that do not make their own food, amoeba and paramecium. Next is your kingdom fungi. Kingdom fungi, they cannot make their own food and they produce spores. In detail, we will read in the next class about fungi. Here, just to remember, they do not make their own food and they produce spores. Example is yeast, but there are many examples: penicillin, neurospora, aspergillus, mushroom is a fungi. So we will read that in detail. Next. All the multicellular green plants which can make their own food in presence of light is called plant or are called plant. All multicellular green plants which can make their food on their own in presence of sunlight using water and air are included in the kingdom Plantae. Because of the ability to make food, they are called as autotrophs. Yes, plants are autotrophs. Yes, I know some insectivorous plants are there, but that are exception. The plants are exception. The plant are found on land, sea, lakes, and streams. Everywhere you will see plant, okay? And kingdom animal or kingdom animalia. See, plant and animals, you will find they are multicellular in nature. They are multicellular in nature. Okay. Plant and animals are multicellular in nature. They are not unicellular. Unicellular you will find in Protista and Monera. Fungi you will find both unicellular and multicellular, but plant and animal, they all are multicellular in nature. Okay. So human beings come under the kingdom Animalia. We are also animals. They are heterotrophic in nature. They cannot make their own food. Okay. So animals again are classified into two groups: vertebrates and invertebrates. Vertebrates and invertebrates. See, I'm writing in short form. I think you have understood what I am telling. You're getting what I'm telling. Animals are classified into two groups: invertebrates and vertebrates. On what basis they are classified? Presence of backbone. See, when you are going through our neck to bottom, you are seeing a bone-like structure. That is your backbone. Okay, in some animals, backbone is present. In some animals, backbone is not present. So on the basis of the presence of backbone, we are classifying animals into two groups: vertebrates and invertebrates. Animals with a backbone are called vertebrates, and animals without a backbone are called invertebrates. Okay, so we will study about vertebrates, invertebrates in detail. Carlos Linnaeus is considered the father of nomenclature, naming of organisms, classification, you can say. This helps in studying of organisms in a systemic way. Classification, okay. This belongs to kingdom Monera. Bacteria, green plants are called autotrophs. Animals without a backbone are called invertebrates. So general plan of classification. What is the plan? How we will classify? So what is the plan of classification? Five kingdom classification will be discussed in higher class. So, okay, we will discuss that in higher class, most probably in class 8. We have seen that in the two kingdom system, all the living organisms are divided into two kingdoms, that is the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. The kingdom, see, 1 second. So we are having the kingdom. The kingdom is again divided into phylum or division. See, phylum we say in case of animals, division we say in case of plant. Okay, that is phyla. The phylum is again divided into classes. The classes is again divided into order. Order is divided into family. This is the basis of classification. This is very important to remember. Family is divided into genera or genus. And genus is divided into individual species. SPS means species. So this is the basis of classification from kingdom to species. Kingdom, animalia, phyla, classes, order, family, genus, species. So our humans are also divided in, our humans are also categorized on the basis of species, Homo sapiens, genus is your Homo. Homo sapiens means Homo is the genus, sapiens is the specific epithet or species name. Then family we are having Hominidae, like that order, class, phylum, kingdom. On the basis of your grouping or classification, we have given different types of names. Okay. This one you have to remember: kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. See, kingdom is animalia. Phylum, what will be the phylum? Vertebrate or invertebrate. Okay. The class will be your mammals or your fish, your amphibian, like that. Order, next order will become your on order, then your family, then genus and species. So we have learned up to species. Okay. Again, I am telling kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Okay. For example, tiger belongs to species Tigris. Lion belongs to species Leo. But both are having same genus Panthera. The scientific name of tiger is Panthera tigris and scientific name of lion is Panthera leo. Members of the species are highly similar in various traits, except in skin color, size, height, and so on. So suppose humans are of same species, but American human and an Indian human must have difference in color, must have difference in height, must have difference in size. So in species, you will find difference only in external structures, but internal structures are same. Members of species resemble each other very closely. The members of species have a similar body part, living in the similar habitat and reproduce among themselves. Yes, among the species, they can easily reproduce among themselves. They have a similar habitat. Okay, we all live on Earth, so, and we all live in the normal climate. Suppose someone is living in a hilly area, but someone is living in a plainy area. But motamoti, they have the same characteristics. Some characteristic may change, like their breathing habit or their eating habit may change, but internal structure they will have similar. The entire population of the lions are certain specific characters. Each kind of animal roughly corresponds to a species only. Okay. So we conclude that organisms having same characters constitute a species. All closely related species are called genus. Groups of similar genera, the genus plural form is genera, are grouped together to form a family. Similar families are grouped into orders. Similar orders are grouped into classes, and similar classes into phylum, and similar phylum into kingdom. See, group of organisms having same characters is your species. Some similar species are your genus, like Panthera tiger and Leo. Panthera tigris and Panthera leo, this lion and tiger, have some similar characteristics that they were wild animals. So they are grouped into one genus. Some similar genus, they make one family. Some similar family, they make one order. And similar orders make classes. Similar classes make phylum, and similar phylum makes kingdom. Okay, so this paragraph is very important. Now, nomenclature. Nomenclature is naming different organisms. There are about millions of species of animals and plants in the world. They have different common names in different languages. In India, various languages are spoken, or variety of languages are spoken. Mango is called Aam in Hindi, Mavu in Marathi, Ambo in Odia, Mammidi in Tamil. So you see, in India we have many languages. For a fruit, as is mango, we call it in different forms. Some call Mammidi, some calls Ambo, some calls it Mamavu, some calls it Am. But we have to name it a similar name or a common name, so that when we say that name, everyone gets that, and there will be not any problem while having a research on that, on mango. Okay, so for that common, we give a scientific name to each and every organism or each and every living being. Okay, so common names can create confusion. So avoid that confusion, we use the scientific name that is used all over the world. Okay, so who discovered this nomenclature? Carlos Linnaeus. Carlos Linnaeus, this is Carlos Linnaeus. He started giving names to your organisms, plants, animals. So he is the father of taxonomy. Taxonomy is classification of living beings. Classification of living beings is called your taxonomy. And Carlos Linnaeus or Carl Linnaeus is the father of taxonomy, because he started naming different organisms so that we can avoid confusion of having a different common name for that animal, for that organism in different languages. According to this system is called as binomial nomenclature. Why binomial? There are two sets of name. One set 1 and set 2. First one is your genus, generic name. Second is your specific epithet. Okay? Or species name. Each organism is given a tool part of Latin name. See, the language used for naming scientifically or having the scientific nomenclature or binomial nomenclature is your Latin. The language is Latin. Why Latin? Because Latin is less used in the world than other languages. So Latin is used. The first part of the name is the genus name or the generic name. The second part is the species name. And there are some rules you have to follow while naming these organisms. The first letter of the generic name is always written in capital, but the first letter of the specific name is written in small. You see, banana, we are naming it as Musa paradisica. See, Musa, first letter, the first part is your generic, second part is your specific. Musa, M, capital, paradisica, P, small. See here, you see. Mangifera, first part, generic name, capital. Indica, first letter, small. Panthera, Leo means lion, first capital. Here, specific name, small. This is the rule of nomenclature. while printing the scientific name of the organism, it is italicized. Italicized means you have to write it little slantingly. Slantingly we will write it, but while writing in the copy or while writing it with pen, we will underline the name. Suppose I am writing Mangifera indica. Mangifera means mango. I have to underline Mangifera indica. You have to write it in one line. Here space is not there. I have to underline it while writing in copy. When you are writing, you have to underline it. Banana, Musa paradisica. Mango is Mangifera indica. Lion is Panthera leo. Indian bullfrog. Indian bullfrog is your Haplopatrachus tigrinus. Okay, these names may be horrible to you while you are listening for the first time, but you have to remember it because it will come in exam. Tiger is Panthera tigris, as I've already told you. We humans are called as Homo sapiens. Okay, dog is your Canis familiaris. Okay, watermelon is Cucumis mello. Okay, Cucumis is the generic name, mello is the specific name. Cucumber is Cucumis sativus. Cucumis sativus. Okay. Now I am keeping these exercises. You can take a screenshot if you want. And you want to practice it at home. So I hope you have understood the chapter. I will suggest to again read it, to again watch the video if you need. And please make sure that you have no doubts in this concept, because in the next class we are going to discuss about classification of plant and animals. So again, I want to discuss about kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Because if you will not get clear in this concept, you will feel difficulty while learning classification of plant and animals, and also in higher classes, you will have problem. Okay. Yes. Let's discuss. Kingdom. Suppose you are taking humans into consideration. Species of humans is sapiens. Yes or no? Species means one group of organisms having same characteristic. Like one Indian man and one European man, both will be called Homo sapiens. एक इंडियन व्यक्ति और एक यूरोपियन व्यक्ति, दोनों को हम होमो सैपियंस ही बोलेंगे, क्योंकि बाहर से वो अलग दिखते हैं लेकिन अंदर से उनके इंटरनल स्ट्रक्चर तो सेम है ना. उनके पास भी एक हार्ट है, उनके पास भी दो लंग्स है, उनके पास भी दो किडनी है. बट द जीनस होमो, द जीनस इज होमो. So what is the scientific name of human? Homo sapiens. What is the family? It is Hominidae. This one is not important for you, but still. Hominidae. Okay, what is the order? Primata. Or primates, you can say. See, order means Hominidae जैसा कुछ और फैमिली होगा जो कि कंबाइन करके क्या बनाता है? ऑर्डर प्राइमाटा. क्लास इज योर मैमल्स. Mammals means the organisms that can give milk to their young ones or produce milk or have mammary glands. Okay. Phylum is your vertebrate. We humans have a vertebral column. We have a backbone. So we are vertebrates or vertebrata, mammalia. Okay. Kingdom is animalia. We all are animals. So see, Tiger is also a vertebrata. Tiger have a vertebrae, but tiger is also a mammal, but it is not a primate. So we differentiated primate into one class, and he came into carnivora. That is our order. So carnivores came into another class. So like another order. I am sorry. We differentiated tiger and human into different orders. One is carnivore, one is primata. Okay, so like that, and they came similar under mammalia because tiger is also a mammal, human is also a mammal. So like that, we have classified organisms on the basis of their characteristics. Okay, see these mammals must have similar classes, which all have backbone. Suppose mammal है, fish है, हमारा amphibian है, सब में एक क्या है, vertebral column है, backbone है, तो सबको similar करके हम एक phylum बना दिए vertebrata. But mammals are not similar with amphibians, so we have differentiated on them on the basis of their class. Mammals is different class, amphibian is a different class. Amphibians live both land and water, but mammals, they cannot live both on land and water. They either live on land or water. So whale is living inside water, but we cannot live inside water. No, we are living on land. So we have differentiated them into different classes. So I hope you have understood. We'll meet in the next class. Till then, thank you. Namaskar. Jai Hind. And please like and subscribe the channel and share it to your friend who are in need.